Americans will now have broadcast television from local stations at work, at play, and on the way. Coming to local stations in top markets, live and local news, sports, weather, and traffic, plus your favorite television shows. Mobile digital television. Never miss a minute.
Other questions?
It's not really a question. It answers, I think, a whole number of questions. There was a question earlier about why haven't broadcasters done this already. There's this sense of sort of taking the dog out for the walk, and right now the dog's running, and you're trying to hold it back. So from a standards process, we're in a candidate standard phase. What that means is that implementations are going on against that candidate standard, and commercial products are being developed as a part of that. So before this show, there was little choice besides, experimental gear to get up and running, and it is a simple 2-3 hour operation. But what you have now is in addition to sponsors like Rodin Schwartz and Harris doing this, you've got companies like Acronym Industries putting forward complete solutions that go end to end with encoders and the electronic service guides, etc. So I think one of the reasons that broadcasters haven't done it before now is that those solutions have not been available. And those solutions, as a broadcaster, putting those together is the first step to getting those on the air. So I think you're just now reaching that phase of true commercialization. And within the ATSC, we will be in the May-June time frame elevating this candidate standard for consideration to a full published standard status, and we expect that to happen before the end of the year. A lot of people are holding back on marketing product, if you will, because it was a question, well, can I make this work? And does the standard work? And can I make those pieces? And so what you see at this show this year is that companies have taken the initiative, and they've come together, and they're working towards those interconnect standards and showing interoperability, which, by the way, is another, I'll ask Brandon, are you going to be doing any interop tests? Are you going to be doing 8 city tours, that sort of thing? I mean, how does that get nailed down from here?
Well, I think you mean when we roll out in Washington. I'm not so sure that the Washington first showcase is going to have full interoperability, to be honest with you. I do hope, by the way, I was going to make this comment earlier, sort of, one thing on my wish list would be to get a carrier involved in Washington, and I think that's doable. Maybe ambitious, but I think it's doable. The interoperability may be version 2.0, but we'll have to see.
And why did you pick DC? What was it about? You have a lot of wireless drops, or how does it work in DC? Is it rollout?
We all felt there was a statement to be made around this, and doing it in the Capitol. Is, I think, fitting for the project, and it's also fitting for the role as broadcasters and serving public interest. And we wanted to be able to go, to show that we're making innovative use of the spectrum, that broadcasters have, is sort of in an open consumer-oriented manner. We thought that Washington would be a good market.
And WRC in Washington was the model HD station, so it's sort of a continuation of the legacy that station's had.
There's a question here. You thought twice. Anybody else?
Yes.
Oh,
Hi, my name is Marge Costello, editor of CE Online News. 2 questions for the gentleman from LG and Samsung. First question would be, can you carry this alone, or do you need the support of Sony, Panasonic, and the other major CE brands? And my second question for anyone is, can this device that you're looking to for the future also combine HD radio, perhaps? And is that a configuration that would be something that could be made cost effectively and appeal to both the audio and the video needs of consumers?
Let me take the first one. I'm not sure I understood the second one. I think the answer is that we want the participation of a wide array of manufacturers, because when people go into a store and they see these devices, they should have a nice selection. They should understand how compelling and interesting this is. And manufacturers should believe, just as broadcasters believe, that this is going to be a popular and effective service. So we're busy trying to stimulate others to do it. And so it's hard to answer the need side of that question. So I think the answer is that's the way it should be and that's the way it will be. So we do believe that the other manufacturers will participate and we're actively stimulating that.
Sure, March, the broadcasters have taken a huge step by announcing a large number of stations going on the air with this service by the end of this year without even waiting for device availability. So there's a lot being done to get over that initial hurdle. Second, this is an open standard for a reason. It's because you want a broad ecosystem, and actually there are a lot of companies already participating in it. A lot of products, including the newest from Dell, are being demonstrated. As far as HD radio goes, it's really a completely separate technology, separate spectrum, separate service. So it's interesting to imagine what other technologies could be put in a device along with mobile DTV. They're really not connected to each other.
We'll take one last question.
Go ahead.
John, that was a good segue to about to ask with regard to engineering again. Could you get into some detail about what the features would be available to the consumer? Closed captioning, alternate language support. If I have a lunch hour that starts at 12:30, could I record the Fox News that starts at noon on the device and watch it during my appointed lunch break? What sort of features are there to empower the consumer in this beyond just previous generations of analog TVs?
Well, the product announcements are still to come, and product features are still to be determined. But already there was shown at maybe a year ago a couple of products that the consumer could actually make a recording and then play back later. That's really just an implementation issue. As far as closed caption and alternate language, I honestly don't know the answer to that. I think the standards experts would be able to say how that information is carried in the signal. The one I am sure about is I know the parental control information is definitely carried in the signal. And I would be amazed if captioning wasn't. Mark, captioning is carried in the signal as well, as it should be.
Bob, you want to put a punctuation point on that?
No, I just agree with him that the features, time shifting is clearly going to be something people are going to want to do, and you'll see it in products. I don't know if it will be in the very first products, but just basically whatever you can imagine, it should be able to be done on the receive side. I mean, the question will always be, is there something needed in the transmitted signal to enable that? But short of that, you're going to see all these features play out. And the features that are in the devices already for other reasons people are going to try to connect those into mobile DTV as well.
I want to thank everybody for coming here today, and just from my own experience of looking at this yesterday with Fox News on it, and of course you can get NBC and a bunch of other things on it that they've been able to put on here. I want it. So I'm in a very good sense that this is something where a mobile world, we're all running around, we're not attached to our proverbial living room, and it's something that I feel very honored to be a part of in these early stages. We had some terrific sponsors for this super session whom I'd like to thank. Harris Corporation, LG Electronics, of course, Brody & Schwartz, and Samsung. Thanks to all of you for really helping to promote this. Have a great